homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Tsengkung, homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and homage to Master Thupten Dorji, homage to the three jewels of the altar, and homage to the main deity of Homa today, Amitayus Tathagata, the Buddha of long life, and Ushna Vijaya, and the White Tara. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, temple directors, all disciples present here and over the internet. And our participating VIPs today are the wife of the representative of Taiwan to Sweden, Dharma Sister Judy, the accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, law advisor to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou, academician from Academia Sinica of Taiwan, Professor Zhu Ziyi and wife, from CTI TV Taiwan, producers for Kenny Tiansang Xinten, Dharma Sister Rebecca Xiaqi, Dr. Lin Su-hua, Dr. Gao, and Dharma brother Gao Minglu and wife and Mrs. From Taiwan Sunny Line Dance Group, the Dharma assistant Francis, Dharma sister Lin Yixin, Dharma sister Cai Meiyue, Dharma brother Liang Yanlong. From the Voices of Heaven Choir Group, Dharma Sister Gao Rujin, Gao Ruzhen, and Gao Xinzi. From Fuxing Airline, Dharma Sister Wu Meixian. Representative to the council person of Taipei City, Dharma Sister Xue Huiling. From Brazil, the Lotus Light Language Cultural Center, the Vice Principal, Dharma Sister Liang Yan. So, President Dr. Lu Foqing and husband, Andy. Ho Chi Lu and family. Good afternoon, everybody. How do you do? I would like to make an announcement for next Sunday's June 26th Homa ceremony. That would be for Ragaraja. Ragaraja is also read for magnetization. So he is one of the deities for magnetization, and at Buddha school we have two deities. One is Ragaraja, the other one is Gurukule. So Ragaraja is the main deity for love, harmony, and magnetization. If you like to have a harmonious family, you would like to have a tall, handsome, and rich boyfriend, or if you like to have a beautiful and talented girlfriend or ladies, or okay, no more. Then you need to become the primary supplicant of the Homa, unless you don't need those, unless you feel anything would do. If you think that everything is the best arrangement, then you don't need it. However, Ragaraja Homa ceremony will enhance your radiance because of the meaning of Raga. Raga meaning spark with love. Because there's a key point in there that if you like to gain yogic response with your yidam, then you need to first Ragaraja mantra first. And he's like an agent, an intermediate, a mediator. So he has such a mediator power. Then he would connect you with your yidam. So if you want to gain yogic response with your yidam quickly, then you need to become primary supplicants for Ragaraja. Or if you want to be connected with your wife, to have spiritual response with your wife or with your boyfriend, that would be Ragaraja. Or with your girlfriend, that would be Ragaraja. To have a harmonious family, that's also Ragaraja. And in order to gain spiritual response with all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, that's also Ragaraja. So Ragaraja would allow us to gain yogic response quickly with all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And today, we practice Amitayus, the longevity Buddha. The Homa was longevity Buddha Homa. In Tantrayana, there are 3 longevity deities, and typically they come together. One is the longevity Tathagata or Amitayus, and one is Ushina Vijaya, and the other one is White Tara. And they are called the 3 longevity deities. That's the mantra. And the mudra is the same as the meditation mudra of Amitabha Buddha. But his emblem is the longevity nectar vase. And most importantly, is his image is the same as that of the Buddha. And his whole body is red. And most importantly, he's holding the longevity nectar vase. If you can obtain the sweet nectar water, the ambrosia from the nectar vase, then all of your illnesses would be cured. Because he is the key for longevity. And longevity, you need to have health. You need to have health in order to live a long life. Only then life would be meaningful. And the mudra is the meditation mudra of Amitabha. And he's also an emanation of Amitabha Buddha. Because Amitabha Buddha is also called the Buddha of infinite light and the Buddha of infinite life. And an emanation of the Buddha of infinite life is Amitayus, or the longevity Buddha. In the Infinite Life Sutra, it was mentioned that the formidable divine light of the infinite life Buddha is supreme, is the greatest among all the Buddhas. I heard that at noon at the Rainbow Temple we have the rainbow light, like around a rainbow light. That's the infinite light. And that's the most supreme. The typical rainbow is like an arch, but the light of longevity Buddha would be in a circle. So a circle of rainbow light was very bright and radiant. So it's just right for the longevity Buddha Homa today. So here, I hope that the bright light of longevity Buddha can eradicate all of your sicknesses, that every one of us would live a long life, that true Buddha school disciples would live a long life, and that all of your wishes be fulfilled. That the longevity Buddha radiated a bright light so that all those who prayed would have their prayers granted and would have attainments, and that all your daily necessities, your abode, your food, your clothing, your transportation, all your needs would be fulfilled, and you have enough resources for your life, and then all obstructions and hindrances be eliminated totally. And by his bright light, he could also guide all the Bardo spirits to be reborn into the pure Buddha lands. So this deity is the best deity for Bardo deliverance too. He's considered one of the best for Bardo deliverance. And here, we hope that all that you pray for in your hearts would be granted as you wish. And next, we will talk more about Virupa's legends and history. So here is according to the excerpt in the Gazing at the Moon Buddhist Dictionary. So Dharmapala, a Sanskrit word which means Hufa in Chinese, was one of the 10 famous masters of Yogacara. Yogacara, or consciousness-only school. In India, there are now only 2 schools left of Buddhism, Yogacara and Madhyamaka. And he was one of the 10 famous masters of Yogacara. He was the eldest son of a minister from the city of Kanchipura in Dravida Kingdom in South India. So he was the eldest son. In his 20s, when he was very young, he was marrying a princess. However, the night before the wedding ceremony, he left home to go to the monastery. Like the venerable elder Xu Yun also left home to become a monastic before his wedding date. And Sakyamuni Buddha had married but left home afterwards before he had a son. So all these great people left home. So only me, this silly fool, who could never leave home, who could never escape from my family. However, that's quite miserable. But of course, this happiness and fun having a family with 2 grandchildren and 2 children that are so nice, that for Qing and for Qi are really great. They are not contaminated by the bad habits of living in America. They are quite very. It's quite comforting to know that. And Simu is very capable. So the children understand it, and Simu is a really very good assistant to me. And Simu always hit the target on whatever she said, whatever she believes happened. So like Andy, who's very honest, because we're Chinese, he's the white. He's the foreigner, but actually in America, we are the foreigners. So Andy is a very honest person. As an agent, very honest, like in being an agent, you know, he kind of sticks to the price, but Simu always make a bargain, and whatever she bargained, she got it. Very interestingly. So her judgments on a lot of things are very accurate. So Virupa left home and he practiced Buddha Dharma. He went to the monastery to practice Buddha Dharma. Later on, he traveled extensively to spread Buddha Dharma. He lived in the same era as Barahi and Stilamati, and he was very famous even in his young age. At that time, in the city of Chaochangmi, city of Kanchipura in Chaochangmi, central India, there was a notorious heretic. who authored a book called The Thousands Verses, composed of 32,000 of words of defamations toward Buddha Dharma. And he could not be defeated by any monastics before. Virupa was still very young then, and he defeated the heretic. And then later he went to the country of Bhimaswara and defeated 100 Hinayana followers in 7 days in a row. So Hinayana debaters afterwards he went to Nalanda at Magadha. His fame was like the sun in the sky, and his followers were like the clouds. Silabhadra, Jinaputra, the late Buddhist Xuan Jian were among them. At 29, he felt unwell and in his body and left the monastery and lived at Mahabodhi Temple in Bodh Gaya. So other than practicing dhyana or Zen and prostrations, he also composed 30 verses of Yogacara to elucidate and advance the key teaching of the great master Vasubandhu. According to the legend, he rejected a request from a debate, from a Madhyamaka Abhidharmika, or of the time. So 3 years later, at 32, he passed into parinirvana. But in reality, did he really pass away at 32? According to the Buddhist Sutras, he showed sudden sudden death at 32 and disappeared. And most records recorded that at 32 he disappeared. About Virupa's nirvana, there was a record of it in the 8th chapter of the Tang Dynasty records of the journey to the west. When Silabhadra was 30 years old, he received Dharmapala's command to defeat all the heretics from South India. When Xuanzang, the monk from Tang Dynasty, arrived at Molanda Monastery in the year 635 or 36 AD, Silabhadra, to pay homage to Silabhadra was already 106 years old. So it was the year of 560 when Silabhadra was 30 years old. Silabhadra and Dharmapala were born in the same year, around 560. However, Satishchandra Vidyabhusana's History of Indian Logic stated that Dharmapala lived from 600 to 635. So this described that Dharmapala or Virupa came from this era, 600 to 635. And about Dharmapala's records of reincarnations, according to Ta Seng Quang Bai Luan Mahayana Prakarana Vaibhashya, 10 chapters, and the CD Yogacara Treasure, both treatises, 5 chapters, Quan So Yuan Len Si, 1 chapter, and Xuanzhuang translation of the Madhyamakavatara, 10 chapters, and also the Hufa's translation as the center. It came from the key points of the treatise. So I kind of read on the sutra. I missed the last part. This came from the records of the Tang Dynasty records of the journey to the West, chapter number 5, 9, 10, and from the Tazi Temple, Sanzang Fa Si, biography number 3rd, 4th, and the South Sea Inner Dharma transmission number 4th, from the Yogacara records number 1, and also for the other records number 12, and the Indian philosophy research number 5. Jeez. So this is talking about Virupa's biography or history. So in summary, what we know from history, that it's clear that the Indian history about Dignada, Dhammapala, Jayadeva, and Pilwapa is that because Dignaga was from 470 to 530 or 400 to 480. And so when he entered to Nirvana, so Indian history was really a mess. They were not accurate. So look at the Padmasambhava's biography. Padmasambhava, Guru Padmasambhava had 2 gurus, Manjushri Mitra, and he entered into Parinirvana, and then there was another Manjushri Mitra. So there were 2 Manjushri Mitras, and one before the time of Guru Padmasambhava, and the other one is after the time of Guru Padmasambhava, and they were both called Manjushri Mitra. So it was quite a mess. It was really confusing and befuddling. So the worst kind of history, very vague and confusing and ambiguous, is the history of India. Like Sakyamuni Buddha, the king Suddhodana. So he was a king, but if you check Indian history, there was no King Suddhodana. And his relatives were the 8 kings, like the king Bai Fan Wang in Chinese sounds like the white rice king, or the red rice king, the brown rice king, or the meat rice king. So all the 8 kings were related to rice. In Chinese, sound like rice. But Sakyamuni Buddha's father was King Suddhodana. So the golden rice king, the white rice king, brown rice king, green rice king, or green bean king, or red bean king, or white bean king, and the soybean king, all the 8 kings. And also the 8 princes who entered into monastic life, But there weren't that many countries or kingdoms then, so it was really, even the countries in India were very confusing and vague. So even the countries were very confusing, especially the people or the key figures. We're not even sure from what century or what era they come from. Like the abbots of Nalanda Monastery was also very confusing. Sometimes they come from an era 1,000 years apart, but they're all linked together, so they don't have a concept of time. So how many years had Guru Padmasambhava lived? 800 years. So he lived longer than Pengzu of China. They live a very long time. And look at Bodhidharma, the great master. He entered into parinirvana during the Liang dynasty, and when they opened his coffin, there was only one sandal. And in a faraway place, a minister saw the great master Bodhidharma walking on the street holding a sandal. So was that the same person? Don't know. But he was holding one sandal. That was Bodhidharma. So he went to India, and then he went to Tibet and met Milarepa. And he also met Machilabdron and transmitted the Machilabdron Dharma. And he became the patriarch of the Chot tradition of Tibet. So what era was Milarepa? And Bodhidharma was at the era of Liang dynasty. So what do we know? Which eras? Who is in which era? So it's all very confusing and very befuddling. It's quite a mess, very chaotic. Even the countries, they have so many countries. So one city is a country and they have a king there. So how many kings had there been in India? So the one who united the whole India was like King Ashoka. So that was really quite historical. But the small countries, they were not recorded in history. Even Sakyamuni Buddha's birthday was just being guessed by everybody. And people don't know. And his record was also quite vague and ambiguous and confusing. So from the above, it's very clear that we can eliminate the concept that the one that received from Dignaga was Chandrakirti, and Li Zeng from China, which is a great Buddhist researcher on Indian history, and in Taiwan is the elder Inxun, the Inxun Daosi. And the history of Li Zeng. So after Chandrakirti, that was Jayadeva, and after Jayadeva, it was Shantideva. So from the time frame, it works. So if Dhammapala and Virupa is one person, were one person, then he was the great master of Yogacara, and the Guang Bai Lun, Cheng Wei Si Lun, Guan Shuo Yuan Lun Yi, Cheng Wei Si Bao Seng Lun. And the Tibetan Tripitaka was also checking the Vajra verses of Virupa, to prove. But if Dharmapala is not the same person as Virupa, then Virupa was after Chandrakirti. So if Virupa is a great master of Yogacara, and Chandrakirti is the great master of Madhyamaka, so the concepts of Lamdre, Chandrakirti is from the Madhyamaka Yingchen sect. Then inside Lamdre, most of them are influenced by Madhyamaka. So in conclusion, that India doesn't put great importance on history. So their Indian history is really confusing and in a big mess. But Chinese history is very clear. And they live in a different time and space. It was 1,000 years ago. It is difficult to determine what is true, what is false. In any case, at least we know for sure that Virupa was very knowledgeable and had strong foundations in Mahayana Dharma teachings. So his vulgar magic, lute singing of the Vajra verses and fooling around were far beyond superficial level. He was a true Mahasiddha who had attained the realm of non-arising. He was an exemplar for both Mahayana and Tantrayana practitioners. So we will leave the research and debate of the history to the Buddhist researchers and should not spend more time on it. So let's just not think more about them. Don't think more, because Indian history is really quite confusing. When the husband got home, the wife asked, "So do we have a bonus this month?" And the husband said, "No." The wife said, "Oh, take out the money at the sole of your shoes." And the husband asked, "How did you know?" And the wife said, "Every inch of your body I know every inch of your body, and when you get into the door, I could tell that you have grown taller by 1 inch." So the wife was incredible and extremely observant. So I have read on the history of India, and I have also read the records of the Tang dynasties of the journey to the West. And I really found that they were really quite hodgepodge in their history. To them, history is not important, and they don't pay attention to history. That's also good, because in Diamond Sutra it was written, "Let the past pass, and the current, the present will become the past, and the future will also become the past. So why do you care? You don't care. So as long as you're fine for the moment, that's fine." So if you want to be like the wife and always watch, that the husband has grown taller by 1 inch, that's too much. It's better if you just take it easy and relax. Only when the wife is kind of, they were kind of indistinct and muddle-headed, then the husband would have some attainments. So let's ask Simu to be a little bit muddle-headed. Then Grandmaster would have attainments. But really, Simu is really incredible. With just a short gaze of the eyes, this short look, she would know how many hair you have. And I don't have to say anything. And I am very calm and relaxed and kind of have a very quiet mind, but Simu always know what I'm thinking, and she said, I know what you're thinking now. Oh my God. How can I live like this? Oh, jeez. It's quite annoying. How come the jokes about husband and wife? The wife asked, why do you always lie when you're on vacation? And the husband said, oh, I am studying Buddhism, and this word in Chinese is actually very broad. That's really great, but you need to understand the key points and the pith instructions. If you comprehend the concepts and in your cultivation you master both the theory and the practice. The husband said, I am studying from the Buddha. And the wife said, how come you're lying down when you're studying from the Buddha? And the husband replied, I'm studying from the Buddha in Thailand, which is the reclining Buddha. And wife poured a bucket of cold water onto the husband. And the husband asked, what are you doing? And the wife said, oh, I'm bathing the Buddha. Simu is also this incredible. Simu is really formidable. It's about like this. The son told Dad, I have a girlfriend now, and she's from Henan. And the dad said, what? Huh? What are you saying? And the son said, I have a girlfriend now. And the dad said, I said, no, the last one. What is it? Someone from Henan. And dad said, no way. And the son, why? Just play over Chinese. With a Henan person, but in Chinese it sounds like with a man. Why not? And that said, why are you dating a man? So this is play of word of Chinese words. So he's dating a girl from Henan. In Chinese sounds like Henan Ren, sounds like with a man. So gay is fine. Even our Dr. Sun, it's also play of words of Chinese. It's also play of words Chinese. Actually, he wasn't a gay. It was just a joke. So, being muddle-headed is like this. So, if you check the history of India, there was a King Suddhodana. So, because King Suddhodana wasn't recorded in Indian history, where did Sakyamuni Buddha come from? So Indian history was really bad. A man was arguing with his wife, and the man said, so if my wife say a word to me, I'll react with 2 words. And if she scolded me 1 word, I would reply it with 10. And the wife speaks it loudly, but I speak it in my heart. I say it silently in my heart. So this is called use gentleness to face the tough. Grandmaster is very kind-hearted. So when Simu complained about me, I'm very at peace because I am studying the Buddha from the Buddha, and I'm also studying from the reclining Buddha. And Simu's standing at the head of my bed from the ancient time until today's time. So from the time before marriage, when we were dating, until now. She remembered everything, and then she would reiterate it one by one for several hours. And then I would have fallen asleep for several hours. Based on Simu's capacity, sharpness, we should ask her to research the history of India. She could stand next to my bed and she could recap all the things, all the major and the minor things that happened when when we were dating before marriage until now. And I was still even listening in my dream. And because I was unresponsive at the end, she left. So I used gentleness to face the tough or the severe. So please don't complain about your life. Actually, everybody is a hero, whether you're a man or woman. What does it mean? Because we are number 1. We are all number 1. We are all heroes. How do you explain that? Because when your dad and mom were prior to your birth, your swimming was number 1. Yes. because your swimming was number one. That's why you were born. So that's why we are all heroes. We should be heroes. We should be the true heroes.
你看他这里啊，这个稻果。
So, what's written in Lamdre?
这个关于印度的历史，由佛教的历史学家去发掘考证。
So, about the history of India, we would leave it to the historians and researchers to check the Buddhist history as well, because it's impossible to get it clearly. And he said there's no need to mention it anymore. Now he mentioned again. According to the Tuguan in Tibet is very important. It's very famous. So Nagarjuna transmitted the teachings of Lamdre to Sakya Mitra Sanyu, and Sakya Sanyu transmitted to Siranzu, and Siranzu to Virupa. And Virupa transmitted to Dombi Heruka, and Dombi transmitted to Uti Ye or Prachna Indra Liuzi. So this is the primary lineage in India. So Nagarjuna and Aryadeva are from Madhyamaka. So he altered the 12 gate treatise. So Nagarjuna transmitted it to Sakya Mitra, Sakya Mitra to Siranzu to Virupa. So in this case, Virupa should be from the school of Madhyamaka and not Yogacara. So there's some discrepancy here between Madhyamaka and Yogacara. And so Nagarjuna and Aryadeva belongs to Madhyamaka, and Asanga and Vasubandhu belongs to Yogacara. They are the earliest patriarchs of that school. So this is the primary lineage related to Lamdre in India. So Tuguan in Tibet, there is a living Buddha, Tuguan, that's very famous in Tibet. So this is based on Tuguan records. So it also talked about lineage. So the Venerable monk Liao Ming had the lineage of Master Nona of the Red Nyingmapa. And Master Sakya Zengkong Dezhong Rinpoche had the lineage of the Sakyapa, the Sakya school, Sakya sect. Also the primary lineage for Lamdre. And the 16 Dhamma King Karmapa is the lineage for Mahamudra. So it's the lineage for the white Kagyupa. And Master Dupten Dorji is the lineage for the yellow Gelugpa. So Grandmaster's lineage came from 4 sects of the Kagyupa, Sakyapa, Gelugpa, Nyingmapa. So Grandmaster has lineages from all these 4 different sects. Let me share a joke. My friend's wife's cell phone has a phone number for 49M, and the husband asked the wife, "Whose is that?" To 29M, and the wife didn't want to say, no matter what, and the husband kept guessing: is it a man of 29 years old? Is it someone on February 9th, or? So the husband was very distressed about it. And then when the 29M phone call came, he was pretending to be calm and waiting for the wife to answer. And the wife said, "Erju ma," in Chinese sounded like the second auntie. But the Chinese sound for 29M sounded similar. So it's like a code. So that's why it is better if you get down right to the issues in order to avoid misunderstandings. Grandmaster is often misunderstood. They're all misunderstanding. So misunderstandings and misjudgments, I'm actually transmitting Dharma to that person. And some people said, no, they didn't even think carefully about it. Sometimes I give a lot of Dharma talk, and my attendant didn't dare to come in. Like to the sunflower. Where are you? She's outside? Oh, she's in the big hall, in the grand hall. I asked the Dharma sister called Sunflower, and I was teaching her how to read the Chinese compass, how to read it, how to read the needle, and one facing the south and the other one facing north. So the point of the needle facing north and the bottom facing south, in order to determine the direction of the Chinese compass. And also explaining to her all the trigrams inside the compass, and how to do the divination. And I explained for a very long time, and my attendant didn't want to come in, because when they think that the thing, when the person asking were problematic, then they don't dare to come in, because that's a lady and Grandmaster is a man. So I don't know what they think of Sunflower. They didn't dare to come in. As long as they're young ladies, they didn't come in. But old ladies, they would come in. So there's an age distinction here, or it's problems with your head? And sometimes I tell him, please don't come in because the Dharma that I want to transmit is secretive. And yet he didn't move. He stood there, so I didn't dare to say anything. Or someone asking very personal thing, the secret of their hearts, then it's best not to have anybody standing next to us. So I invite the attendant to move away, because I was transmitting Bodhidharma, so please don't misunderstand. So I was teaching Dharma Sister Sunflower how to use the Chinese compass, how to determine the directions, how to place the compass, how invoke the patriarchs, Ba Qua, Fu Xi, Fen Wang, the king of Fu Xi, Zhong Guang. 走卦同辞排卦同南 the 九天玄女皇子宫 all these patriarchs, and then how to place all of them. I spoke with her for over 40 minutes, almost 50 minutes, and the attendant didn't even walk in. Sometimes I would say it if someone's about to say a private matters. But the door was always open, and Master De Hui was trying to be nice, and he made a glass door. The original door was the regular door, you couldn't see inside, but Master De Hui was sick himself, so he thought Grandmaster is also sick. So he especially made of a glass door. So in my consultation room, there's a glass door, and because the bathroom is over there, you would be able to see anyone going to the bathroom. So even if I lock my door, you would still be able to see inside. So Master De Hui must have some problems. He must be sick in his heart, because he thinks something bad. But normally, this glass door is still open. Even during spiritual consultation, I never locked it, because there's no use to lock it. Because it's a glass door, you still can see inside. So the door is useless. You can just take it apart. Might as well just take it apart. Might as well you take down all the walls too. I'm just speaking from my heart. You're always very suspicious.
这里提到的哇，这里这个土官派的历史。
Oh, this is the story of Tu Guan.
正当中国内地宋真宗景德元年。
And then at the time of China, Song Dynasty, Zhenzong Jingde year, the year of 1004, it's the Hevajra Tantra. And this is through, it was brought by Fa Hu. 四光入侵，普明持节传唤大师的时候 I apologize. I don't have this. This talks about the history of Hevajra, and Hevajra is closely related to Lamdre. And Grandmaster has written the exposition on Hevajra very completely and clearly. So if you have listened to Hevajra, my Hevajra exposition, then you would have understood half of Lamdre. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.